now fast forward from 30 companies, we are now around 555. 8 months ahead of my business plan. I'm doing 1,000 orders a day. And I was like,
1,000 orders a day?
Now you can't tell me what's being bad. And it was like, yeah, we'll be bankrupt tomorrow because I bought all the inventory. So changing the model, I cannot reveal the name yet, but his company has been bought by a very, very large company, in a UAE-based company, and they bought his whole company, and he's incorporating that marketplace now into their app.
E-commerce in the next few years is going to wipe out most of the retail and most of the traditional, let's say, selling as we know it.
This is The Board, built by founders, for founders.
Yeah.
Mitch, good morning.
Very nice to meet you.
It's hard to find people usually as tall as me or taller. Well, so I'm gonna assume directly that you're German.
I am.
There you go.
Born and bred.
Sometimes some good stereotypes can be can actually materialize. So, the first time I come here, even though I lived here for a few years, and I love it. It's a beautiful place. But for those who don't know, what is Dubai Commerce City?
Okay, essentially, we are a free zone. Yeah, free zone like you have more than 40 across the UAE, and we do what every free zone does. You got a lease and you got a license. So that's a standard, right? Where we come in, we are focusing more on ecosystem, because our edge is, someone comes in, they need a lease, they need a license, but they need a lot of other things.
Right.
Picture yourself, you're having beautiful socks, handmade socks somewhere in India, and you want to bring them here, you want to sell them. You need to have fulfillment. You need to have marketing in order to place the products on marketplaces, on brand.com, on whatever. You need maybe someone to tell you first, what is the channel I should be using, right? So you need a lot of additional services. And our idea would be our tenants are not only the tenants itself, but they're also our partners. That means our job is not only to give a lease and a license like all the free zones do, but we actually want to work with our tenants. And working in the sense of we help them to grow their business. We help them to find customers, to find suppliers, to build partnerships. This is where we come in. And I think this is in a way our competitive edge.
Amazing. So are you focused on a specific business sector, or are you open to all business sectors?
Naturally, when I joined here 4 years ago, we were putting the E into commerce.
Okay.
And, but then when
the E wasn't there.
The E wasn't there. We had 30 companies, right?
Okay.
And then I said, you know what, putting the E into commerce is a little bit challenging if your free zone is completely empty, right?
All right.
So the first thing where we said, like,
how long ago was this?
That was 4 years ago.
Okay.
And there was one building up, the one we are in right now. All the other buildings which you see in the back, they weren't there yet. Now we have 6 buildings, right? Okay. And so the first thing was, we said, like, you know what, okay, we cannot narrow the funnel already before we have started growing, right? So we need to widen the funnel in a way. First thing was, you know what, let's go away a little bit from this e-commerce only. Let's do it digital, because the process can be digital, right? And e-commerce, normally you just connect it to a product, right? But if you say digital, there's a lot of things which can be digitalized today.
Right.
That's one. The other thing was really this ecosystem aspect, where we really felt people who come here, whether they're from Germany, whether they're from Lebanon, wherever, they want a sense of belonging. They're coming here, they want to meet people, they want to be part of a community. Right. So for us was really that ecosystem approach. This was the time when it really kicked off over here. And now fast forward from 30 companies, we are now around 555. We have more than 92% of our offices are full.
So how many companies again?
555,
wow,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we have 6 buildings and another 6 coming. Altogether, 210,000 square meter of office space, 57,000 square meter of logistics space for 25,000 people. Amazing. So we're still in the beginning.
But that's amazing for something that just started. And all of these companies are, how much percentage would you say are homegrown? Like founded in the UAE? Founded in the UAE, I would say the majority, because if I look at it, MNCs, which I have, so really like global companies such as Coca-Cola and whatnot, I have probably 10%, 8-9%. Medium-sized companies, a little bit lesser. And the majority of it is startups, right? So that means startups meaning like you and I were setting up a company, we want a table like this, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. So the majority is really focusing on these. But the way how we measure success on the whole thing is, the big guys, they will always take an additional office. Of course. But I think for us is, we have a smart desk, which is like 7.5 square meter, 2 Visa, that's it. And the biggest
the biggest achievement for us would be if these guys start growing.
Exactly.
And we have a lot of these companies now, they're 4 years old. They started with a smart desk. Now they have 20 square meter, went to 70 square meters. So we slowly keep,
it's amazing to see the journey. Is there one company that stands out? You can name it, you cannot name it, it's up to you. But I would like to hear like a really nice success story that's close to your heart.
I think we have a couple, to be honest. But one thing which I really is in my head a lot, because I just think the model is quite unique. There's a company called The Luxury Promise.
The Luxury Promise.
Yes. So what they basically do is they have handbags. Handbags from Hermes, They are Birkin bags, if you heard about it. Birkin bags, most expensive.
I have a wife, so trust me, I hear about it way too much.
Yeah, you better not tell her what we have over here. So 100,000 dirham is for used bag. 100,000 dirham, that's where used bag starts.
Okay.
She has more than 40 of these bags. She has a lot of other bags. What she does is, and that's super cool, she goes on Instagram, she goes live, she auctions these bags out of DCC to the world. In the past, she had like in New York, in Singapore, in London, and in the UAE, she had like her business. But imagine if a bag is $100,000, you want to consolidate the inventory. So she came and she said, you know what, let's put it all in here and let's start a global fulfillment hub out of the DCC. And this is something which is massively unique. Now she ventures into luxury watches. She also has a jewelry because she's a fashion icon, right?
Yeah.
So, but she's just using her name and everything. And then she's shipping from here to all over the world. And I think this is a model which you normally don't see. It goes away from your standard e-commerce. I have a marketplace.
Of course.
This is very unique. It's very private selling, right? That's one. If I can explain one more, we have one company. They're called Socially. And he is someone I knew from Asia when I was living in Asia for many years. He came here and he said, you know what, TikTok, obviously TikTok shop is massive in Asia, right?
Of course.
And he said, you know what, the model, a lot of marketplaces are working on it. TikTok shop hasn't been launched until then here. And he said, you know what, I want to sell cosmetics online and sell it to the whole GCC.
Right.
And it was basically micro-influencer, trying makeup and everything, posting the videos, and then you could sell it directly on the app itself. It was called Socially. He started October 2023. After 1 year, he almost had 1,000 orders a day to Saudi alone.
So it's kind of like back in the day, you remember it like telemarketing, but like now,
but just exactly.
Now it's more social, it's more digital.
Yeah.
So it's just this.
And the model is unique. And the guy came to me and he said, like, Mitch, I have an amazing problem, and so I have an amazing achievement, but I also have a massive problem. And I was like,
what's it?
What's amazing? And it was like, I'm 8 months ahead of my business plan. I'm doing 1,000 orders a day, and I was like,
1,000 orders a day.
Now you can't tell me what's being bad. And it was like, yeah, we'll be bankrupt tomorrow because I bought all the inventory. So he was literally, with all the big cosmetic brands, he was buying the inventory in, giving it to the girls to try it out, get the orders and ship it out. But in order to keep the machine running, you need to buy more and more inventory, right? And so that's a common problem.
How did he solve that problem?
Changing his business model obviously was a very important one, right? Because not everything is moving when you sell online, right? So they have a lot of that inventory. And he's not a procurement guy. He's an e-commerce guy. So he will never be as smart as a cosmetic brand or as a FMCG brand to buy stuff, right? So changing the model, I cannot reveal the name yet, but his company has been bought by a very, very large company, in a UAE-based company, and they bought his whole company, and he's incorporating that marketplace now into their app.
Amazing.
And for him, it was 2 years work, and it was crazy.
It was a good exit.
Yeah, it was amazing. Why? Because he came in, lease license we gave him. I knew him from before, so I knew he had some other challenges. So we helped him introducing to investors like Oracea Capital, which is under the same group as us. I connected him to Sisley, which is one of our French cosmetic brands. And so he started launching their products on his website. And then Nakal Express, which is owned by Saudi Post, they were helping him on the fulfillment into Saudi. So, you know, that was the whole idea. It's like, okay, yeah, you have to lease the license, but what are other things how we can help you? Wow. And he got a golden exit, golden handshake, obviously. Nice. Not everyone is that lucky, but
of course. But he did tap into something that's unique. Yes. But I'm gonna make a bold statement here, but I do believe that e-commerce in the next few years is going to wipe out most of the retail. and most of the traditional, let's say, selling as we know it.
Yep.
For me, from a guy that comes from construction real estate development, I can tell you that Amazon and all the big e-commerce companies are building massive, absolutely massive warehouses. And they're always short on warehouses, which goes to prove to you that the demand to buy and get things delivered online and getting them delivered to your doorstep is obviously, as we know it, it's like the next big thing now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So do you believe that you guys realized the potential of this long time ago, or you feel like you just entered at the right time with this free zone?
So I'm lucky enough that I relocated from Asia, and in Asia is, from that perspective, they're quite ahead of what the Middle East is doing in terms of e-commerce maturity, right? And I saw a lot
Where in Asia?
I was based in Singapore for 9 years, in Bangkok for 4 years, and in Hong Kong for 2 years before I moved to the Middle East.
And it's the same all across.
And I was working in e-commerce. Every country has its own specifics, but overall the trend is really that people go online, right? I think, will retail go away? No, will never go away. But of course, it's all about O2O, online to offline. How can they actually work with each other? So what you just mentioned is absolutely correct, we will go away from this massive stores, and it will be more like whether it's pop-up, whether it's trying room, virtual. And
you don't need 5, 10 stores in the country. You have 1 or 2 stores.
Absolutely. And that's why the supply chain becomes so important, right? Because you need to have the product there. You will not have a lot of shelf space in the store itself. It will be flagship store. But at the end, like the display you have over here, you choose your color, you do this, you do that. And ideally, when you're on your way to the car, someone is waiting for you at your car and giving you the product, right? So there is a lot of things how they need to work with it. I think Singapore is a very good example. You have a lot of malls over there, which are going away from the traditional retail malls. So they are more experience malls. And what do I mean by that is you're going to the mall and you go there to be entertained. And as a byproduct, you buy something.
Right.
But the main purpose is not, let's go shopping into the mall. No, let's get entertained. And on the way, you're buying something.
I would avoid going to buy anything from the mall at whatever cost.
We're guys,
the biggest waste of time and torture for me. So I do see the potential in e-commerce, but I also do believe it's cutthroat. So can you also talk to us a little bit about the dark side of e-commerce and what you found some of the founders do wrong, or maybe the common mistake that you probably see with them?
I think the first important part is if any company coming to the UAE, a lot of people want to go all in. And I think you need to scale as long as you go, right? I give you the example with that buddy of mine who created Socially. When you go in somewhere, you need to have an asset light setup. Because we all know Dubai is expensive, right? And it starts with, you have your license, but do you really need a flashy office, or can it be a shared office, right? So I think this is one of the most overlooked part, where a lot of people just say like, I need this. Yeah, you might need it, but not at this stage. No. So exactly. And the focus would be, and I think this is interesting because I worked in a startup in Bangkok, is you have a lot of founders who are amazing of founding a company, but they're not necessarily amazing in scaling it, if you know what I mean.
It's crazy. I hear this comment all the time.
Yeah. And it's a different skill set. And you know what? Back then, the interesting part was actually, I was hired into this company. I came from corporate, and I came in especially for that reason. Because they said, you know what? We have an amazing product. Now we need to scale it. We need to roll out Indonesia. We need to go to the Philippines. We need to go to Malaysia. All the places I went, and I built up the business for them. Because they knew it's great, but you know what? Devil is in detail. You need people, you need space, you need warehouses and whatnot, right? So building all of it is a different skill set. In the beginning, they were making fun of the German with the spreadsheets, right? But you want someone who is structured. You need someone.
It is, especially in scaling.
Exactly.
Because it's all about the numbers. At the end of the day, the number is, when you scale, you 100%. Need to talk about finding a company and starting it. Yes, you'll have to have that creative aspect, but scaling is purely numbers.
100%. Yeah.
So what about like what's next for Dubai Commerce City, and how would you let's say reply back to the people that keep criticizing the situation, especially with the recent events, and what have you guys done to sort of navigate and pivot from that?
So first of all, I think our focus areas going forward, and of course the global events, put the priorities a little bit differently. But the overall thing is, we know we are very successful in getting e-commerce companies in. We're very successful in getting automotive companies in.
Mm-hmm.
We have Maserati, we have BYD headquarter over here. We have EV car companies here, chauffeur service companies, right? Then we have a lot of logistics companies. So in the future, what I want to focus on is being like a little bit more going into industries and cater for these industries. Because before it was like the shotgun approach. It's like, everyone come in, I have something for you. I think we need to be a little bit more specific now and create these clusters, especially with the more companies we become. You know, you want to do this niche and say like, okay, why are these logistics guys coming to us? Why automotive coming to Dubai Commerce City and think it's the best thing to have over here? So this is the next thing what we're going to do. Engagement. I have connections to all of the CEOs in this company. We have around 4,500 employees under these companies, under the 555. So the question would be, how do we connect them? So that's the next thing what we're doing. So we have an app now, which we set up, has even TikTok functions. So where everyone can download it from the DCC folks who are here. And then, you know, we offer services to them. We have a holistic gym with ice baths and everything, which we opened up. And so people can really like see what's going on and create that community besides outside of the company itself. Yeah. In terms of focus areas, I think a lot of people actually challenge it and say, you know what, it's what's happening, it's very bad. And there's no question around it. Of course, it's not the most pleasant thing right now. But on the other hand, I think it also gives an opportunity for people to assess their business models. Because the ones who are leaving tomorrow are the ones probably who did not have the strongest business model in the first place.
Exactly.
Secondly, it can give us as a government entity an opportunity to offer something to them which allows them to scale, which allows them to be flexible. Because right now, I think the biggest challenge is commitment for a lot of people, if that makes sense, because we don't know which direction does it go.
We don't know what we don't know, basically.
Exactly. And so that, from that perspective, we need to help them. I mean, I'm grateful for the companies who started with us 4 or 5 years ago, but some of them will also have challenges. If you have a logistics company, no products coming in, no products going out, how are they supposed to pay their rent and stuff, right? So there is, whether it's payment plans and stuff. So we are helping a lot from whatever we can from our perspective in making that. But I think it's also in terms of future products, we can offer something which actually helps for people not to do any upfront heavy investments, but really like grow as you go kind of thing.
Yeah. So do you in numbers, where do you feel like the projections are going to be for whether for e-commerce in general in Dubai and Dubai Commerce City as an entity?
Yeah. So in terms of e-commerce companies, and that's right now, I would say we are around 30% who actually have e-commerce activity. It doesn't mean like it's an e-commerce company. Give an example, Coca-Cola. It's a beverage company, but of course they also do e-commerce, right? So more than 30, I think 40% almost, they have the e-commerce activity in there, right? If you ask me which direction does it go, I think overall we have around 17% on e-commerce penetration in the Middle East or in the UAE, right? And then you have the whole Middle East. So where does it go? It will go to, I'm pretty sure it will go to 30, 40%. Maybe it will not reach China levels, but there is definitely, and if you just see, if it is at this very small base, even 5%, 10% or whatever, has a massive impact in terms of space, what you need. You just mentioned it before, go to an Amazon, to a Shein, and whatever the names are. You hardly find the space they need over here, and they're not at that growth trajectory yet, where you say, you know what, okay, it's going to be 10% more, 50% more, whatever in the next years. So all this supply, they need to cater for, right? So I think from that perspective, one thing is the accessibility. We have one of the most internet literate markets in the whole world are here in the Middle East. Mobile phone penetration, everything speaks for us, but that's the demand side. What about the supply side? And you coming from a planning perspective, right? The question would be then as well, do we need more e-commerce logistics parks? Yeah. Do we need to build different kind of malls, for instance, right? Which cater for it. So I think both needs to go hand in hand before it can really take off.
Yeah. And do you, like right now, are you guys providing any sort of specific incentives for company? Are there any special kind of like arrangements that you're providing for companies that have not entered Dubai Commerce City yet that would have not been usually available before?
Yeah. So what we have is, that's a very good question. What we have right now, we have certain new products or new promotions which are going on because the demand in the region is still there. The demand from overseas, because of the geopolitical situation, has dried up a little bit. No company, or not a lot of companies want to make a big move right now. So from our perspective, it's like, you know what? Maybe let's waive the setup fee. Yeah, maybe let's give them 1 month's rent free or whatever, right? So just something catered around there. That's the first one. It's like, you know, to get them in. In terms of how do we help them? These license, our standard product, every free zone offers, but we are going now towards how can we actually give them a product where they say, you know what, you get your lease, your license, and you get a free website. You get your lease, your license, and you get a free marketplace integration, right? So we set up a company now, a spin-off under Dubai Commerce City, which is called Shift 360, which is like a digital e-commerce agency who helps you with all these kind of services. Not by necessarily doing it ourselves, but we have a lot of tenants who can offer these services, and we are the connecting link between them. So the next thing would be, how can you give someone a package where they have everything what they need in one go? And, you know, I think the power of it is, if you're now coming fresh to the UAE, like I came 4 years ago, I need a car, I need an apartment, I need school for the kids and all of it, right? I would not know where to go. I'm relying a lot on people. I'm searching online and whatnot. The people, the partners which we have in Dubai Commerce City are also our tenants. So these guys, naturally, we will not recommend someone who's not good in their job, obviously, right? They also know they cannot fail because it's our name who's on the game, right? So we need to be a part of this. So I think it is really, it has a super strong bond where you say, you know what, okay, Mitch, I need someone to do a marketing service. And then I say, you know what, I have these two marketing agencies. They're strong in this, they're strong in that. And then I can choose between them. Chances that they are going with those two are very high. Why? Because they trust us. They trusted us with the license, which is the biggest trust factor. And if we have someone which we are vetting, where we are checking that they are doing a good job, it's a no-brainer. And I'd rather pay even a little bit more than going outside and just trying my chances and see what works, right?
Yeah. So with all these companies here and the projections that you guys have with the growth, do you feel like maybe at some point, or maybe is this something that you guys already provide, maybe access for mature companies or established companies that have proven themselves, maybe you could provide them access or connections for fundraising?
Yes. So there's two parts to it. One thing is we have under the government, I'm a part of Dubai Integrated Economic Zones.
Okay.
They have 3 free zones, and they also have another venture underneath, which is called Orasea Capital.
Okay.
They also joined the event today.
Okay.
So this is one of the most active VCs in the region.
Okay.
And what they have cohorts, they have sandbox concept, they have a lot of product, they have everything from pre-seed all the way to Series B. So we are introducing a lot of our tenants because, like I rightfully mentioned, a lot of people coming, they have amazing ideas, but maybe not so deep pockets. They need funding. That's one part of it. Outside of this, obviously, we are also talking to Incubator and a lot of these other companies where we said, like, you know what, how can we help them? Because not everyone who comes in might be a good fit for our own VC, which we have, but we want to have a pipeline of different VCs and say, like, you know what, okay, let me check what these guys offer and how we can help them.
Amazing. Mitch, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Great. Thank you.